Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. If you like what you're hearing here on Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, you know what? Head over to Facebook and join our Facebook group. That is where a bunch of sports fans get together and talk sports online. Best sports group on Facebook. And then if you really like what you're hearing on the show, share it with a friend and subscribe on your podcast app. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, the podcast where we record at a bar that is completely empty except for one person, it sounds like. But that's because everyone is at Beef O'Brady's right now because they're having the Polar Bear Plunge team is raising money for the children's charities of the Midlands. A few of you guys went over there
Rooster
today.
and I just left there.
And I know that they are doing some great things for the children's charities of the Midlands. If you want to, you can go ahead and donate to that as well. Just look it up online, you'll be able to find it. But I think it's through Facebook as well. I've done a couple posts with it also. The podcast has raised about $500 or $395 or something like that for them. So hopefully we can get more people to donate as well, but we'll see how that goes down the road. Now, thank you all for joining the show. What happened last night, we have got to talk about. So we will be talking about the national championship game, but let's go ahead and get some introductions going first. Before we jump into that, because before we jump into the bludgeoning, the slaughterhouse that was the national championship, we have to discuss that. But let's go ahead.
The other blonde.
Cheeks. Why do I always go to blonde first? I call you because you have blonde hair.
Because I'm blonde.
Because she's blonde and you're decked out. Okay, Dallas. And we have the Eagles hat on too. You're ready to go.
I'm ready. I'm
ready for the playoffs and
ready
NFL.
for a couple weekends from now.
We will be talking about NFL this week as well. So enjoy that while you can.
Meanwhile,
what are you drinking?
Cranberry vodka and soda.
That's unusual. You're usually drinking some banana beer?
Yes, I'm drinking a double too because it's that kind of a day.
And my man, Who's Your Daddy, is drinking something unusual tonight as well, since you're usually drinking beer.
Correct. I just finished the Bud Light, but I'm celebrating the Gamecocks' 10-point lead at halftime over the Kentucky with a Kentucky Mule.
Men's basketball.
Nice, men's basketball.
People were writing off the Gamecocks after that bludgeoning against Tennessee.
Yeah, that was
However, it's good to see that they were able to rebound a little bit.
People are writing off. People seem like they're.
You see what I did there?
People seem like they're writing off Kentucky a little bit right now too. So
we can get into that.
We can get into that. Ripper the Predictor. You don't even have a beer tonight. What's going on?
I am drinking.
Hold on. There's no beers on this table except for mine.
Yeah,
and an empty one from Who's Your Daddy.
Some of us are rookies. Some of us are drinkers.
It's a rough day.
What is going? Yeah, it must have been
rough day
a rough day
around.
today. Yeah, for sure. All right, Ripper, what do you got there?
I've got Tito's Diet Alive.
All right, and the Rooster is back. It's been a while.
It's been a little while.
November, I think, was the last show you did right before things. No. You came second week of December as well. You were on the show.
Wow. You got
That might be false, but I'll go along with it since
feel
you're
like-
hosting.
I might be lying.
Who is going to dispute
All right,
that?
so what are you drinking? That's a
Just a little bourbon and ginger ale,
Okay.
as it is a chilly night here in South Carolina, and so I'm doing that.
it's like 50 degrees.
Chilly night for South Carolina.
Okay.
But I'm just going to add on just a little bit bigger of a plug for the Polar Bear Plunge on Saturday here in Lake Carolina. It is the not the Chippin' Whales. The event is for the children of the Midlands. If you're interested, go to GoFundMe.com/F/CW2023. It is a great event, and we are so looking forward to it.
It's going to be awesome. All right. They're actually doing the plunge this weekend.
Yes.
I won't be here, unfortunately, because for some reason they want to do the plunge. I know why. It's because of another another competing charity event last weekend, but we're always out of town that weekend. So we got my man Choppa.
Heyo.
Doesn't even drink beer tonight either. What do you got?
I got a margarita on the rocks.
All right, and this is your man.
delicious-
Hanger.
Hey, margaritas are good for people that are Auburn fans. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially
Absolutely.
a margarita that's a double.
Hey, number 3 transfer class so far.
Oh wow, that's pretty solid, man.
Getting a team. We're getting a team. Watch out, Ohio State.
Watch
We're
out,
coming
Ohio
for
State. Yeah, watch
In the,
out.
like in the transfer portal or like on the field?
you. All of the above.
Oh. And this is your boy Hanger. I'm drinking a Coors Light. So, in the Facebook group, I posted, I said, name one word to describe TCU's performance last night. And this is a few of the things I got. Ready? Expected, pathetic, quit, irrelevant, unprepared, outmatched, joke, sad, weak. One person even said, performance? That was not a performance. So, we all are sitting here thinking about this game, right? We all watched that game at least the first half. By halftime, it was pretty much over with. There's always that hope that someone's going to be able to come back. There have been comebacks like that before in college football, but you knew Georgia was there to play, and you knew that something was off with TCU.
Yeah.
And what was it? What was off with TCU, Ripper? What was it like that?
Honestly,
first thoughts on the game. First, let me hear your thoughts on the game.
First thoughts were up front. There's no way TCU is going to be able to move the ball against that defensive front because they just seem to be too fast to the ball, too fast past the line of scrimmage. They made a couple of good plays to keep it interesting early, but other than that, they were just dominated up front.
But Michigan has a solid defense as well, and they weren't dominated up front by Michigan. So something was different about this TCU team. And
Think the stage was too big?
I don't know. That's what we have to figure out here at this
Yeah.
table tonight. It's very important that we figure
But
this
they
out.
Oh.
didn't seem like themselves.
mean,
Let's just talk about experience.
Okay. Georgia's been there before.
Okay, so not only has Georgia been there before, but
Yes.
last year and then 2 years before that. So this is not Georgia's first rodeo. Kirby Smart, an elite coach. This comes down to coaching, 1,000%. Did you have your soldiers ready to march in the same direction at the time? If you recall, at one point in the game last night, it was right after the start of the second quarter, the defensive coordinator had to bring his team in and said, stop acting big, play your positions, do your job in your positions. They were all over the place. Everybody was trying to make big plays, and they were getting way out of position, and they were all over the place, and Georgia is an experienced team that took advantage of that.
Do you think, though, that they were out of position because they were trying to make big plays? Or do you think that somewhere down the road something got messed up with the tape? Like, they weren't able to read Georgia's offense whatsoever. That defense was just falling apart from the beginning.
Yeah, and again, I go back to, if you look at the scheme that they play, it's a 3-3-5 defense, which is not a huge popular defense here in the SEC, of course.
Yeah, and I noticed that when I was watching it. I'm like, why are they lining up 3 on the front when it's a first and or third and 1?
It's a base defense.
Not giving up the
It's
big
a base
play.
defense for TCU, so they play inside out. And in general, they're going to clog the middle. They got overpowered in the middle, and they didn't contain on the outside. It opened up massive plays for the rest of the game. And if you look at what that 3-3-5 does, if you can visualize, when your ends go too far in, it opens up huge gaps. And when those huge linemen from UGA were able to get to that second level, those linebackers don't stand a chance. If you look at the average weight of the Georgia offensive line, you're talking about 318 pounds of average weight. They're plowing through linebackers. In some cases, on the runs, as soon as they got the edge, you're talking about big chunks of plays.
Chopper, this was not a surprise to you.
No,
I know you've been saying this the entire time, like it was going to be a blowout.
No, I thought it would be a more fun, close game, but I knew that Georgia defense was going to come to play and lock them down. They were not going to play 2 close games 2 weeks in a row.
It's just watching the team that played Michigan and watching the team that came out last night. I mean,
Right. They weren't happy.
Jinx.
They weren't. There was no life in them. They were dead inside. You could look at them every time the camera panned on them. You could tell that they were not prepared for this game.
And that wasn't third quarter. That was first quarter.
Georgia
Right.
set the
Even-
tone
Right,
very
because I fell
fast.
asleep and didn't make it to the third
Once
quarter.
Georgia set the tone, it was over. And it was like 14 points, boom, game
Right.
over.
And I
Right.
agree. And if you think back, it's mental. I mean,
Yes.
they whipped
but their
them.
game has always been mental.
Whipped them with a wide open pass down the middle to the tight end for a touchdown. And if you remember the touchdown that the quarterback ran in, I'm not sure if the first or second. And this is where I thought the game was over, even as early as the first quarter. He ran like a little sweep to the left. There were two blockers in front of him that never touched anybody.
That was the
There was
third
nobody
touchdown
there
of the
to
game.
touch anybody.
Yeah.
And he ran in untouched.
The,
with two
line,
blockers
the
on the
linemen were
Right.
looking for people to hit because it was a
And
freeway.
it was
Yeah.
a free run, and the game got so mental, they was totally out of it mentally.
Again, it goes back to coaching for me. I think if you stick to coaching, I think the coach for TCU did a great job all season. Underrated team, always fighting from behind. Second half, they won so many games. He just simply got out coached, and I think that's a testament to Kirby Smart and how well prepared Georgia was to go in this game, especially recovering after they got a little bit of scare from Ohio State, which I'll give Ohio State all the credit in the world. If Ohio State didn't scare the bejesus out of Georgia,
Yes.
I don't think that game happens that we saw yesterday.
Exactly.
So
It's a result of that, for sure.
So Sonny Dykes, coach at TCU, he was able to, I think coming into the Michigan game, they had 3 weeks to prepare. I mean, if you watch the Michigan game, TCU's defense knew where to be every play. They knew how to stop the run enough. They knew how to get, to where they were able to do 2 interceptions with points. Like, defensively, they were strong. I even mentioned it on that 1 yard line. Like, they made 3 or 4 stops at the 1 yard line where it was like first and goal at the 1. And they were able to go 4 downs and force the field goal. So then there was multiple times where that happened against Michigan. Last night, that defense was not on the field. And I think it was the difference between 3 weeks to prepare, 3 or 4 weeks to prepare, versus 9 days to prepare. And they didn't even expect to be at that Georgia game. So I'm assuming that the tape was not cut for those boys to be watching every single game and know that offense the
But
way they
remember,
should have
we
been.
talked on New Year's Eve about them playing, and you and I both said, if we had our pick of who we were going to play against for this game, it was TCU against Ohio State. It was not Georgia. Because we feared that it would go south, and it literally did.
I don't think anyone expected 65-7.
Nobody expected
Hats
that.
off to Georgia. I mean, they literally saved their best game until the last game of the season, and they put it all out there. It was an incredibly dominant and impressive performance in all 3 aspects of the game. So hats off to them.
Who's your daddy? You got something?
Even though I will say the SEC overall is probably the best football conference there is, but it gave a lot of confidence to Ohio State, made them look good, plus the team up north didn't look very good after last night's results.
Yeah, but they
you can't-
took it to us. So
Yeah,
it's
but you
a
can't
matchup
compare
deal.
week to week like that. I mean, it's just
It's
different.
And let's face
different
it,
circumstances.
And I wasn't on what we talked about the Michigan game. A couple calls here, a couple calls there. Bottom line, TCU came out, and that's how the game ended up. I would just say that TCU mentally, and I think we all agree on this, mentally not prepared for the game. Again, for me, that goes back to coaching, and that's
I
what
got
it's
to
at.
disagree with you because I was a coach. I don't think the coach is going to get them to not let up mentally. I think it's each individual self, the pride you have that you got to come out and play.
But even though TCU came back from, I mean, if they didn't come back in the second half, their record would have been more like 6-7, not 13-1.
I agree.
Or 7-7, not 13-1.
But they
So
got
they were a mentally strong team coming into this game.
They got so shell shocked right from the onset of the game. They were totally out.
And I'll just say that there was a moment. It was 10-0, and TCU scored, and it was 10-7, and it was like, wait a second, maybe we do have a
Maybe
game.
they're waking up. That's what I
listen,
thought.
this team is showing up already feeling like they won, right? and really, in all reality, they had already won, right? They're like, we made it here. We've
Yeah,
won.
we're 13-1.
Let's
Predicted
just
to
play.
be last in the league.
And not that they didn't want to win that game, but mentally, I think they're showing up like, we've already kind of won. We're here.
We're here. Then,
Yeah.
so that was good enough for them, and that was the difference between
No,
Georgia.
but it still kind of plays on your emotions a little bit. You know, it's a different kind of emotion
goes back to what
than
you-
I just played a close game against Ohio State. You know, my coach is saying we played terrible last week. We're going to go out and, you know,
Do
really
some
run over
dirty
somebody.
things, yeah.
I mean, it was just it was just a game that was uninspiring to watch by the second half.
Or
I mean,
by the second quarter, unfortunately.
I think the real
Yeah.
loser here moving forward for the last year of the 4-team playoffs is the Big 12, because I think they're just going to have a hard time, even though they're supposed to look at it every year, to have their best go in and have the worst bowl loss in history. It's going to be hard for voters and the panel to put a Big 12 team in there.
I mean, they're gonna think to themselves, maybe we should have put Alabama in there.
I mean, thank God, USC lost to Utah, because man, it would have been worse, right, Cheeks?
Oh yeah, for sure. There a lot of
Let's talk about Tulane now.
a lot of speculation is going into this whole situation now. Of was TCU the right team to be in the game? But TCU did beat Michigan.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. Cincinnati could not do that last year.
100%.
Right.
And it was a situation where
I think where the discussion goes, and I'm going to go with Hoosier on this one, is the conversation right now is, does Alabama lose to any of those 2, 3, or 4 teams if they had the opportunity? And a lot of people are saying no right now. Alabama would have beaten the 2, 3, and 4 teams that were in that playoff.
do you think that Alabama would have won that game?
No,
Because they didn't get to
no, I
play
don't
in the
think so.
regular
I
season.
think anybody would have beat Georgia last
But,
night.
but also, if you look at the record for Georgia, sorry, we just had a birthday girl walk in. If you look at the record, of the teams played against by Georgia. That's also the discussion. Did they have a golden highway going in? And I mentioned this, if you remember, week 1, with the first podcast that we had about college football. 8 home games for Georgia this year. 8 home games for Georgia this year.
Hey, and talk about a golden way to go. Look at their schedule next year, and that's for another conversation.
And over half the teams they played next year had over 5 or more losses this season.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Tennessee's the only one that was in that wrap. So here's a few stats from the game last night. Ready, and then that'll be the wrap up on this. 589 total yards for Georgia versus 188 total yards for TCU. 36 rushing yards for TCU versus 254 rushing yards for Georgia. 152 passing yards for TCU, 335 for Georgia. 9 first downs for TCU versus 32 first downs for Georgia.
Domination.
TCU was 2 for 11 on third down efficiency. I mean, just a slaughterhouse all around. There's no way that TCU was going to come back in the second half after what Georgia was able to do for them. This goes down in my book as the worst national championship game I've ever watched. And every Georgia fan thinks it's the greatest thing that ever happened. It was pathetic to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Well, you can't fault them.
You can't fault them.
No,
but
they were eating wings in the fourth quarter
Did you
on
see
the
that?
sidelines. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I praise Kirby Smart for using his 3 timeouts for some curtain calls for some of his great players. That was like a senior moment for these guys. A senior moment as in like a senior in college moment for these guys. Sorry. And I would say that was respectable. It made me like Kirby Smart a little bit better that he would take that time to do that. I mean, he could do it. They were obviously dominating the game, so that was fun to see as well. Stetson Bennett, does he? Let's talk it out.
Poor Stetson
Does Stetson Bennett get drafted into the NFL?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks so. What round is he going?
I think he's probably a 5th round pick.
5th round pick?
Yeah.
Does he make the team wherever he goes?
Yeah, he'll make the team. I mean, he's a smart, experienced quarterback that can run the ball as well, and he's accurate. And he's 5'10", 195 pounds, but he's got a pretty solid arm on him.
Yeah.
It just so happens that I'm 5'10", almost 195 pounds. He has a little bit.
All right.
But, however, and if you look
You look like the guy that ate that guy.
you're right.
I'm kidding.
Okay, all right. But here's what I'm going to say: if you're the Los Angeles Raiders, Seattle Seahawks,
They're the Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm sorry, Las Vegas Raiders, Oakland Raiders, okay, because that's who they should be.
You've covered them all.
All right. If you're the Las Vegas Raiders, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, if you're the Carolina Panthers,
New Orleans Saints. You can throw a lot of people in there.
you should be looking at Stetson Bennett in the 4th or 5th round when it doesn't hurt you that bad, and get a
Okay.
guy that's got accuracy, that is a winner, and gives you 5 years of amazing play.
And every time he goes like this and flexes, it just makes me hate him even more. It drives me freaking crazy. But
Me
you know
too,
what?
But for different reasons.
Is that because he's undefeated against Florida?
The kid,
Yeah.
he's almost as old as me.
He's older than he's older
telling
than
all sorts
5
of lies
quarterbacks that
Yeah.
are in the playoffs right now.
The guy has 2 national championships under his belt. He's probably going to go down, that what they're saying is the most decorated quarterback in college football history or something like that, right?
No.
Or in
Georgia.
playoff history? I don't know. Oh, in the playoff, that's right. In the playoff, in Georgia history?
Probably Georgia.
But it's in the playoff, in the 4-team playoff, since that started or something like that as well. In that era.
Okay.
That's what they were saying. That most decorated
Yeah,
quarterback in the
has there
playoff
been
era.
a quarterback that's won 2 national championships in the playoff era? I don't know.
There has not been.
There hasn't
Yeah.
been, yeah.
This is the first back-to-back.
And not back to back either.
Yeah.
So, that being said, we have got to move on.
We do.
To other things to talk about.
We're going to miss you, college football.
We are gonna miss you. It hurts my heart to say it, but we're gonna look forward to the 2023 season with some coaching changes. All right. Here's a fun one. Steve Spurrier Jr. was the wide receivers coach over at Mississippi State, and he is going to be the offensive coordinator at Tulsa. I say Steve Spurrier because I love the guy. But moving on from that,
He drinks his wine on Saturday nights.
yeah, Steve
Ohio
Spurrier
State's
Jr.
offensive coordinator is going to be their new head coach at Tulsa as well.
Oh, is that okay? Cool.
Yeah.
Zach
Fun
Arnett.
factoid.
Zach Arnett, defensive coordinator, will be taking a head coaching job at Mississippi State. They say they're still going to use the whole same offensive schemes that they were using.
Wait, can we talk about that one for a second? Where did he come from?
He was the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State already.
But this was his first year at Mississippi State.
Oh, where did he come from before that?
I'm guessing Syracuse.
I actually don't know the answer to that one, but this is it was.
Well, we can have the people in the back look it up if you need it to.
Can we have that people in the back look it up, because I believe this is his first year at defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, and all of a sudden now he's the head coach. It's a little strange to me.
Well, he was named interim, right?
He
Yes.
was named interim,
Which is also strange.
now.
First year as a coordinator, and now you're the.
I'm
coach.
getting this information from a sports article on 24/7 Sports, but this might not be completely accurate. They might still be looking for a actual head coach. He might still be interim. I'm not sure. That could be the case. Hugh Freeze is at Auburn.
Boom.
I think we talked about that. He comes from Liberty. He has a lot of experience in the SEC as well. What do you think about that pick, my man?
He's
Chopper?
off and rolling. Big time recruiting.
You
so
said
far.
that Auburn is number 3 in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's bringing in a lot of good recruits. Should be a totally new team.
Well, we know how he recruits.
Well, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
That's just a low
Yeah.
punch.
There's probably NIL money for that.
No.
Yeah, and there definitely
no,
is.
this
now.
guy he's a good guy. He's gonna do
He's
good
a winner.
things. He's gonna do good
You
things.
can't deny that he's a
He's gonna
winner.
do good things.
Family man, and
He's
he'll
gonna
turn
do
that
good
around.
things. He will.
He's a family man. Yes.
He actually will.
He will.
All right, so moving on.
Made some mistakes though. He did.
Tim Beck.
Made some mistakes.
Tim Beck was the offensive coordinator over at NC State. Took the job at Coastal Carolina, and get this, Grayson McCall pulled his name out of the transfer portal to stay at Coastal Carolina. Is that a dumb move for Grayson McCall? Should he go to a Power 5 team because he has the arm, he has the record to prove that he can play some football? What do you think about that, Ripper?
No, I think if he can get Coastal to a New Year's Bowl, really over the last few years since he's been the quarterback, Coastal's gotten quite a bit of national exposure.
They've gotten tons of national exposure.
Yeah.
No one knew who they were except for
Right.
when they won the national championship for baseball.
And it doesn't matter what school
8
you
years
play
ago.
for. The NFL scouts do their job. So if you're good enough, they're going to find you, and then you're going to get an opportunity.
They will, but should he go to a Power 5 where he could really prove himself to play with the big boys? Because
Now,
no, okay. That being said, do you feel the same way, Chopper?
Well, I don't have a problem with him going to Notre Dame. I think he'll have.
Oh no, Grayson McCall staying at.
Staying. I thought we were
Coastal.
talking about the Wake Forest guy. Sorry.
No. Sorry, that's fine.
We'll talk about him then next.
Hey, Chopper's living in Margaritaville.
I'm sorry.
That's right. He's on his second margarita.
I'm sorry. I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Just to go back to Zach Arnett, I apologize. He joined the Mississippi State team in 2020
Okay.
as the linebacker coach, went to the DC coordinator in 2021, and now he's the interim and permanent head coach. Still a very, very quick ascending
That
path.
is.
Yeah.
And Mississippi State goes from a legend, like a really good quality coach. Are they going to be able to perform the same way that they did? I mean, are they going to go to the bottom of the barrel? Are they going to take Auburn's place as the bottom of the barrel in the SEC West? That's my question.
We can talk about going from a person like Cadillac Williams, who is an amazing person, to Hugh Freeze. No offense. Zach Arnett, he's got a flawless record. I'm just saying, usually in these big programs, you're going to look for a little bit more of a resume.
But look at Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. He had no resume to speak of. He takes that position. They did pretty well this season. Expected to do well next season. They did just take that Wake Forest quarterback. What's his name? I didn't have it on my list of people.
Sam Hartman?
Sam Hartman, yeah. They did just take Sam Hartman, and that's going to be a huge score for that Notre Dame program.
Just one more thing to add about Zach Arnett.
Okay, you love this guy.
is he
He's
related to Will?
36 years old.
No.
Oh, do you have something for it?
The
Are you
Lincoln
all dating?
Rileyism.
Are you dating this guy or something?
I met his wife one time. Let's not talk about it.
But I mean, certain coaches are able to do the recruiting and all that. It does seem like over at Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman was able to start recruiting really well, getting great transfers as well. Maybe this Arnett gentleman can do the same
Well, if we
thing.
go back to Zach Freeman, if you look at what he did this year, what they start the year 0-3, and they ended up 8-4 or 1-2. Look, when you're a new head coach, it takes time to get people behind you and get you to believe in them, right?
Yeah.
So once he got a program to believe in him, he did a great job. Zach Arnett, maybe being a part of the program, maybe what's Zach Arnett's record as a head coach? Anybody know?
I have no idea.
He's
36.
1-0. He just won the bowl
There you
game.
go.
Okay, so
And
like
Marcus
that?
Freeman
I
started
think
doing one.
So.
do you dream about him at night?
I'm just
or
saying.
what, Rooster?
But
I'm not even a Bulldog fan.
I mean, you think about what Mississippi State went through, though, and losing a coach that they all loved, and so they're kind of, they're keeping this guy who was under him and trying to keep some of that continuity that they had under Mike Leach, and maybe they find that continuity in Zach Arnett.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Matt Rule, Nebraska head coach, comes from Carolina Panthers. I know the Carolina Panthers are happy to get rid of him. He put Baylor on the map as a great program. Nebraska, are they ever going to be back?
I think in 3 years they'll have them to 10 wins, competing for a Big Ten West. Actually, they'll probably do away with the divisions by then. But I think within 3 years they'll have them up there around 10 wins a year.
10 wins, wow. I just don't know that that's going to happen
What's it
at
scrolling?
Nebraska. And it's just been so long since they've had any success with that program. I just don't see that happening. But I do have hope because everyone knows that is my number 2 team over there in Nebraska. Deion Sanders, Colorado.
Whoa.
What is going on with Deion Sanders and all of the recruiting that he's doing? Who, if in the right mind, is going to say Deion Sanders is not welcome in my house? Who's your daddy? If Deion Sanders called you and said, and Ripper here was like top 4-star, 5-star quarterback, which I know he is, right? And
I can sling it a little.
yeah, would you say no to Deion Sanders coming by?
No, I would not, because of all the contacts he has in the past, and if he's calling me about Ripper. I mean, he evidently is aware of Ripper and how good he is, and I would let Ripper make his own decision. But
Imagine what that guy's going to be able to do when he's got not only fresh water, but crystal cold blue mountain water.
Yeah.
It's gonna
It's going to be amazing.
And you.
I mean,
I've aged out.
he's probably leading in the transfer portal right now, as we said here, without a
yeah,
doubt.
Colorado is going to be a force to be reckoned with. The only thing that I see is that he's taken a bunch of the people from Jackson State with him. Even the coaching staff is all from Jackson State as well. Now, obviously, those people are hand-selected by him, but is he being too biased in his choices?
Well, I mean, he's going with what he knows right
What
now.
he knows, okay.
4.5 wins is what Vegas has him for next season. You know, I like him to get to 5 or 6 wins. Let's not expect college football playoffs or even competing in the Pac-12. But if you can get close to 500 and maybe even make 500, that's a hell of a lot better than 1-11.
Is that an outdoor stadium? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
He's not used to that crap.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what
He
he
didn't play
does.
for cold weather teams, and he didn't coach a cold weather team.
Well, yeah, he coached in Louisiana.
They're going to get the backing there because they've had a tradition in the past, not
It's
recently.
cold in San Francisco.
Yeah.
San Fran.
All right.
It is.
Georgia Tech fired their coach. I don't know that they've hired a new coach yet. I didn't see any stats on that, but they're irrelevant anyway.
Yeah.
But they have been in the past. They've been national championships. I think in 83 or something like that? Or 1980, Georgia Tech was national champions? I
Some of
can't
you
remember.
guys
It's
might
been
not
a
have
while.
1991.
In 91, yeah.
No,
They have 2 national championships. They do.
1990.
not
Might have
90.
been
That was
90.
Buffalo.
Might have been 90.
Well,
Might have been
whatever.
90 then.
They've had a couple national championships in Georgia
Or
Tech.
Colorado.
Send it to
not
the guys
Buffalo.
in the
Yeah,
back.
so we're looking at a team that has a legacy in the far past, distance past. Can they get to relevance again, especially when you can say as a coach, we're going to play Clemson, we're going to play, who was it, 1990? Yeah, Georgia
1990.
Tech. So we're going to play Clemson,
Rambling right from Georgia
we're going
Tech.
to play Florida State, we're going to play Georgia every year.
I was wrong.
You know, like those are teams that you can recruit with, but who knows how Georgia Tech's going to handle that. But they have to find a coach first. I don't know that they'll ever be back to
I mean, even when they had, Megatron catching for them, they still only won like 7 or 8 games at best, I think, when he was playing there. So
Are we spending time on Georgia Tech?
I
Right
don't know why, but we are.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Let's talk about Reggie Ball.
Yeah.
Should Aaron Rodgers retire? Let's move to the NFL a little bit.
Yes.
No.
Let's prime
Megatron.
the NFL for a second. Is Aaron Rodgers in a position where he needs to move on?
He's even hinted at it.
He's even hinted at,
In his
but he hinted
recent
at it last
interview, he
season
said,
as well.
I think I might have overstayed my welcome.
He may have. So will he move to someplace else then, or will he or just retire? Ripper, you got some thoughts on this?
Well, I don't know what his current contract situation is, but if there's an out for him and they can get away amicably on both sides, sure. He'll go somewhere else and he'll probably play another 3 to 5 years.
I think he'll
3
go
to 5 more years?
I think he'll go.
Yeah,
someplace
Tom Brady
where
is just
marijuana's legal.
making it possible for all these middle-aged men to play well into your 40s now.
I think that you can get recruited. I think you can
With
get
my rocket
recruited
arm
by
and laser
Deion,
vision.
by Deion Sanders and move into Colorado and start playing.
Do you have some
football.
college eligibility left?
Do you have any?
Well, most of the time I was ineligible because of my GPA.
I can't recommend him then, all right?
So hang on a second, because if Brady goes to Vegas, I believe Gronkowski said he would join him there.
Yes, he did.
That would be exciting to watch. It really would.
But that's an unofficial statement.
Unofficial.
Yes.
Unofficial.
Can Brady win another Super Bowl at another team?
Do we want to fast forward here to lightning round NFL? Like
Yes,
what's
let's
going
do it. Okay.
Oh, not like
Boom.
around.
on?
That's a smart. Are you trying to move me on from this?
Are you trying to move him on? Who's your daddy? Yes, we are.
Yes, he is.
All right, lightning round. We don't even need to do a lightning round. We got tons of time here.
No lightning round.
Cowboys versus Tampa Bay are going to be playing this weekend. Vikings versus Giants. 49ers, Seahawks, Jags, Chargers, Bengals, Ravens, Bills, and Dolphins. Let's go ahead and start at the bottom and work my way back up to the best matchup there. We'll start with the Bills versus the Dolphins. How is this going to work out?
The Bills are going to win by 3 touchdowns.
The
Bills all day.
They are a good team. And you are a Buffalo Bills fan, aren't you?
Well, I'm from the neighborhood, never a true Bills fan, because I
Okay.
am a Chicago Bears fan, who have the first pick in the NFL for obvious reasons. Okay.
They are bad.
However,
My first Super Bowl that I ever watched was when the Bears played the
1985.
Patriots, and I became a Patriots fan that day.
well,
1986?
I became a Bears fan that day because my whole family's from New England, and that's what happens when you're the youngest son and you go against your home family.
Did you like the Super Bowl Shuffle? Is that why you decided to become a Bears fan?
If you
Jim
can,
McMahon.
if you saw me in real life, I'm a big
Sure,
fan of the
Briggs.
refrigerator pairing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Singletary,
But,
yeah.
No, sweetness. You had everything you had. Jim McMahon was actually my favorite. Okay, he was half
cool.
the system.
He was 4 times 500.
How can you not love Walter Payton as well? And that was a great.
Look, if you want to go through the names, you had Willie Gull, you had Mike Singletary. I mean,
Willie Gall took ballet lessons so he could be a better
are you
football
kidding
player.
me?
Willie Anderson.
Yeah.
And I'm
You had everybody.
I'm sad that the Patriots lost that game.
They
but
didn't lose. They lost like Georgia beat TCU.
It
That's what that
Yeah.
game was.
Yeah. But I was like 7 or 8 years old, something like that at the time. So
You're underselling it a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they didn't really care about football back then. I just
anyways.
went for the Patriots because I didn't like the Super Bowl Shuffle song.
Let's stay on track here. Bills by 50. This is an emotional game. This is the first game that they're going to play. I believe they got screwed in the ruling by the NFL. Now they don't have home field advantage, which they believe they could have had if they beat the Bengals. They have a guy that they watched almost die on their field. This game is going to be dedicated to him. Bills, I'm not even sure Miami should even show up on the field.
Wow, that's going to be that bad.
It's going to be that bad. And if you look at the saga of Tua, like, come on, man. Like, this guy doesn't know which side of the earth he's on right now. He's hurt. He's not. He's got 17 head injuries. He's self-admitting himself in many cases. The team has to lose faith after a while, and they've got to lose faith in their coaches after the way that he has acted.
Bengals versus the Ravens.
Say after Rooster's analogy, next.
Moving on.
Totally Bengals. The Ravens aren't even in it.
I know. You say. Hold on. What did you just say?
The Bengals are totally taking this. The Ravens aren't even in it.
They are looking pretty good. Now the Ravens do not have their starting quarterback, right?
Well, to be determined.
Oh, really? Okay.
TBD.
Lamar is to be determined still.
So if Lamar's back, do they have a chance?
We will know if Lamar's back by tomorrow, I believe, at least in the initial report for the injuries. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Joe Burrow's locked and loaded.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Cincinnati and the way they. If I could tell you how much money I've won on the Cincinnati Bengals in the last 8 weeks, it's been amazing. I've lost it on everybody else, but thank God for the Bengals.
I mean, didn't even think to call me and let me in on any of this.
Oh.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
I got you. NCAA basketball, that's next. But here's what I'm going to tell you is that the Ravens are coming in pissed off. They feel slighted, and I got to tell you, whenever you see the Ravens play a game, when's the last time you've seen a blown out against the Ravens? Sometime last never. That's when. Okay? So do not take the over. Do not take the points on the Bengals. I think the Bengals win a close one. 24-20 Bengals.
I don't know if I agree on the score, but I think out of all the matchups next weekend, I think this will be the closest one.
This will be the
The
one.
rest of them are really unbalanced, but this will be the closest one.
Should be an exciting game for sure.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy? You got something to say about that game?
No, I think the Bengals, I like the quarterback. He's done a great job of leading that team itself. And regardless of whether Baltimore's quarterback plays or not, I still think the Bengals will win.
Loverboy, Blondie himself at the Jaguars versus the Chargers.
Sunshine.
Sunshine! We've been making fun of Sunshine since episode 4 of this show, okay?
So somebody said that one of the most balanced games is the Bengals and the Ravens. I will say that This game is within a point of that game. So, I've talked a lot. Cheeks, what do you think?
I said that I think the Jaguars are going to lose to the Chargers by 4.
Jaguars are going to lose their Chargers by 4.
Yes.
Jaguars have getting a lot of publicity lately.
I don't care what Trevor Lawrence thinks he is.
I mean, I saw a picture of Trevor Lawrence as the king of the South. Like he had a crown on, blonde hair, locks flowing.
I mean, isn't Doug Peterson their head coach?
Didn't he win
That's
it?
my former Eagles.
I mean,
Super Bowl
you would
winning
think you
coach,
might be
yes.
pulling for them a little bit.
Well, it might be working, but every time they show Trevor Lawrence, he's got wind blowing through his hair because all he cares about is like sponsorships from shampoos.
Do you think that's really true, or you think that's just a perception that they give of the guy?
No, I think that's really true. He likes looking pretty.
I mean, if that's all you got, that's all you got, and you probably got millions too, so you could pull it off. I'm sure.
Didn't he lose that all in that? What's that coin thing called?
Bitcoin, yeah.
Bitcoin, yeah.
But
Bitcoin.
don't just Bitcoin. I've made a lot of money on Bitcoin in my life. Don't tell the IRS. All right, moving on. 49ers.
We already move on. Who's winning that game?
Who's winning that game? Jaguars.
Cheeks says
Chargers.
Jaguars. You shit me?
Trevor Lawrence pulls it off, man. He's on fire right now. He's looking good. They're running on all 4 cylinders. Not 8. They're running on 4 of them.
He's such
4.5.
a Florida homer.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I think I picked San Diego to make the Super Bowl, so I kind of have to stay with them. That was like at the beginning of the year, so.
Does anybody know how many
Or Los Angeles.
how many games San Diego has played this year with both of their star wide receivers?
None?
I don't.
0.
1. Did they win that game? Yes or no?
No.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Oh, so it doesn't matter.
No, this is only the second game that they've got all of their wide receivers back.
They're even better.
This is going to be a battle.
Who's their quarterback?
Justin Hebert.
Herbert.
Bobby Hebert.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're talking about Indianapolis. Colts.
All right.
Colts was at 1998.
All right, let's reel it in here. So
really,
we all
really.
agree.
I'm just saying,
Moving on.
we skirted over that. That's one of the better matchups. The line is only -1 for the Chargers.
Yeah.
It's in Jacksonville.
So we all agree that the Jaguars are going to win. All right, so let's move on.
We're not all agreeing with that.
I say Florida runs the route this week. Dolphins,
Is Tua playing?
Dolphins,
Buccaneers, and
Jaguars, and the
Not gonna happen.
Buccaneers.
I think you might be 0-3.
I don't know if
or 1 or
Skylar Thompson
2.
can get it done. So if Tua plays, they'll win. If not, then no.
San Francisco 49ers versus the Seahawks out west.
Totally
Go 49ers. We have some 49er fans in the house.
Notice how we said 49er fan.
We have a set 49er fan in the house.
49ers by 24.
Yep.
It's gonna
Big time.
be-
Niners.
It's going to be a route for sure, I would think. What do you think
I
about
have them
this?
by 3.
By
3
three.
touchdowns.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you,
man,
Chiefs.
21
Got it.
points.
And I think your likely defensive MVP, Nick Bosa, has himself a day. I'm going to give him 3 sacks on the day. Niners get the win.
Teddy Bridgewater doesn't make it past the second quarter. He gets hurt.
I don't think he's even playing. I mean, if it's not...
Giants,
Teddy
Vikings. Giants are playing the Vikings.
Vikings for sure.
Vikings
What?
have been playing
Really?
good football this
By 2
week.
touchdowns.
What happened last time the Giants played the Vikings?
The Giants beat the
And what happened
Vikings.
with
The
the
Giants
Giants?
beat the Vikings.
So the Vikings will not lose this game, then.
No, the Vikings are definitely winning this game.
Wow.
Would
you
you
put a
put
beer
your-
on that?
I will put a beer on
I'm
that.
still waiting for a beer on my TCU, remember?
Wow.
Yeah, where's her beer on TCU?
Well, if you were drinking beer tonight, I'd buy one.
Oh, technicalities.
So we do have everyone's in agreement that the Vikings are going to win this game, except for Rooster.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll go with the Giants too.
You're going to go with the Giants.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sticking with the Roost.
Yeah, I trust what the Rooster says, but I trust my gut instinct way more.
Anybody
And-
watch the Eagles-Giants game on Sunday? You wouldn't be picking the Giants.
Yeah, the Eagles are just looking
It's a
freaking
matchup issue.
phenomenal, though. All right, the most important game of the weekend.
Oh my gosh.
The Cowboys versus Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay all day.
Yeah, there we go.
Cowboy Bay. Tampa Bay all day.
All right.
Boys,
So-
the boys will
Tom-
win this.
Tom Brady is taking it to the Super Bowl.
137 years old.
I've been calling this all season.
No.
Tom
They
Brady.
have a losing record, and then they're in the playoffs.
Tom Brady's very last game will be against the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree.
In the Super Bowl.
No.
How are the Cowboys going to make the Super Bowl?
We'll always
if they
have each
lose
other.
to,
What
is
do we
there
do?
any way that happens? No. Tampa Bay is beating the Cowboys this week. Mark my words. I see some
Cowboys.
laughing.
No.
I see some.
I agree with Chopper. Jerry Jones is in the locker room after the last game. They're not going to lose this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Cowboys don't.
statistics that say
There's that word, statistics.
in the last 25 years, how many playoff games have the Dallas Cowboys won?
Goose egg.
In the last 25 years.
Because Eagles
Zero.
fans are always living
Not
in the
true.
past.
Right.
More than that.
Put it on record
Three.
here.
In
Put
25
it
years,
on.
they won 3.
Let's put some real stuff on the record right now.
On the record.
If the Dallas Cowboys lose,
DLS.
every time we have a podcast, Cheeks will not pay for a beer if I'm here.
If the Dallas Cowboys lose,
Every time we are here doing a podcast, if the Dallas Cowboys lose,
Are you quitting?
Cheeks will not pay for
So-
a beer.
January 10th.
wow. So you're not going
2023.
to ever be on the show again?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Ooh, down.
Dallas
Go,
Cowboys
Tim
win
boys.
by 10 points over
Cowboys.
the hapless Tampa Bay Bucks in their
Tom Brady's very
Are you
last
making a
game.
segue?
Last game.
we can make
Are
it
you
so.
making a segue
Sure
to what
am.
the fuck?
What the
What
fuck?
the fuck?
I knew it was making.
Brady's last game, and possibly either he or Rodgers will be quarterbacking the San Francisco 49ers next year.
Oh no! Right? That would be
He
fun.
took a breath and went,
All right.
"On."
What the fuck, Ripper?
All right, so February 11th, MJ celebrates its 4th anniversary, its 4th birthday.
No one
Right here,
expected it.
we're going to celebrate with some karaoke.
What the fuck?
Now, I will tell you, if I get a mic in my hand, I may not surrender it. Come on down, celebrate with us, February 11th, karaoke jam.
All right. What the fuck? Who's your daddy? What the
Mine
fuck?
goes to a subject we haven't talked about, but we have some people on the panel who have daughters that's played soccer, and the National Women's Soccer League banned for a lifetime 4 coaches, which I'm all support of, for sexual harassment investigation,
It's getting
What
serious.
the fuck?
which I think is a
What
great
the
stand they took and should have took, and what the fuck, coaches that do something like that.
What the fuck, Cheeks?
Okay, mine is a little bit more lighthearted.
Bring it.
So, as we all know, DeMar Hamlin had just had his awful episode last Monday. So the Buffalo Sabres showed up in Washington wearing a Love for Three shirt in support of him. And the Sabres went on to win when Thompson scored his 3rd goal of the game exactly 3 minutes into the 3rd. On the 3rd overtime, it was Thompson's 30th goal of the season, scored on January 3rd, and the 3 goals elevated Thompson into 3rd place among the NHL points leaders.
What the fuck, Sabres and
Some crazy ass
that is
statistics
some
right
crazy
there.
ass statistics. What the fuck, Chopper? What the fuck?
What the fuck? So,
What the
I don't
fuck?
know if anybody heard this, but it was leaked out on the internet today. Kirby Smart's locker room rant before the national championship game. Quite amazing.
There was lots of f-bombs dropped.
Yeah, it was interesting.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
I mean,
What the
what the
fuck
fuck?
bomb?
Does it motivate?
What fuck? Basically, is the way that we'd have to say that if we're going to be like Kirby Smart. What the fuck, Rooster?
Look, we didn't hit on it tonight, but we're getting into NCAA basketball season. Okay, this is the time where NCAA basketball becomes important. We're into league play and all that kind of good stuff. But for crying out loud, if you're the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th rated team in NCAA basketball, hold your position. Stop losing to crappy teams. What the fuck? If you've been in the top 5 In the last month, you've lost. What the fuck?
UConn was looking rough, man. when
I mean, they were looking good, and now they
Providence.
what the fuck?
Yeah, Providence knocks them off unranked.
Unreal.
That drove
I
me
mean,
nuts.
any of Kansas, I mean,
Purdue.
even Virginia had a bad loss. They're still number one, but what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Houston,
Houston's
get over
number
it.
one.
All right, so my what the fuck moment. I figured everyone's what the fuck would be what we witnessed last night, which we talked about in the beginning of the show.
Too
I
obvious.
just say
It's too obvious.
Too on.
I just say this. I didn't have a what the fuck because I was too what the fud by the national championship game last night, and I couldn't even think of anything else to say what the fuck about because that was a what the fuck. So what the fuck, TCU?
What the fuck?
What
65 to
the
7.
fuck? Kentucky.
Thank-
What the
Oh.
fuck? Kentucky losing to University of South Carolina right now. Let's go.
I forgot that we were going to do a last call moment because
Last call.
our faithful bartender called out last call. I forgot about it. This is the last call. Ready? Your 2023 college football playoff.
Wow.
Playoffs.
A year from now, who will we be talking about in the playoffs? And that is what we're going to talk about for last call. Really fast.
Sarah's-
Who's your daddy? Go.
Next
Top
year.
four.
Top four.
Top four.
Of course, one I'm going to say Ohio State.
I'm
but
gonna
this
hold
is
you to
all
these.
speculation.
I'm holding you to these.
Alabama. I can say Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and USC.
All right, there you go. Good job. Ripper.
Southern California?
Not USC.
You know, I'm going to go back to Oregon. I think Bo's coming back for another year. I'm going to go Oregon.
He's 28 years old.
Yeah.
He's
Hey,
gonna
hey,
make-
that's kind of
that's the
what
recipe.
it takes. Stetson Bennett.
All right,
47
Oregon.
years old.
Good.
I got Oregon. I got Alabama. I got The Ohio State University and Clemson.
Nice. Clemson. Wow.
Georgia.
Clemson's back, baby.
Yeah,
Clemson's
I got
back.
Clemson back.
Remember, the predictor did not see the second half of the game when that quarterback from Georgia came out and lit it up just for fun.
Oh, I was asleep.
Okay, yeah, obviously. Georgia, Clemson. Yep,
Ooh, nice.
they're gonna fix that offense. Their defense is always gonna be good. It's gonna, and the ACC just can't show up because
They're gonna have an
can't.
easy road.
From 100%.
They're not gonna lose to Florida. Sorry, they're not gonna beat Florida State.
All right, you
Mark
have two
my
more.
freaking words on
Ooh, I
that.
love
Two
that.
more.
My goodness, I forgot about Florida State. But I'm gonna stick to my words.
Stick to them.
Stick to them,
All right.
and they have to play at Florida State next year. All right, you got Alabama, and I'm going to say Jim Harbaugh stays amongst the allegations, and it's going to be Michigan beating Ohio State again for the
Again?
fourth
Ooh.
year in a row. Oh, I'm sorry, third year. Does
Yeah,
that feel better?
it
Does that
does.
feel better?
No.
No.
But it's not 4.
Go ahead and say
Chopper.
Auburn. Auburn's going to play Auburn against Auburn and Auburn.
Chopper.
Next. Okay, so Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. I love the Bo Nix pick. He's going to be beast next year in Oregon,
He
What's
wasn't
this
good.
year?
big time. And
Is he 34?
Michigan,
All right.
he is.
I'd like to change my one pick.
All right.
I'm
Who
going
you
to
got?
take Alabama out. I'm going to slide Tennessee in.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh
Joe
yeah.
Milton.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. There's one. Landon the Legend's gonna love you for that one.
Yeah.
By the way.
breaking news. Stetson Bennett has one more year of eligibility, and he's staying at Georgia.
What?
Wow. Okay, good.
What?
That's a lie. Don't worry about it. Let's
For his
go.
9th year of eligibility.
Fake news.
All right, my prediction.
All right. Go.
Obvious, Georgia.
Georgia. Okay.
Alabama.
Alabama.
Notre Dame and
Ooh,
USC.
Notre Dame. USC.
They play
okay.
Ohio State in the third week of the season.
All right. So it pains my heart to say this as a Gator fan, but I'm going with Florida State.
Ooh.
I know.
I love the pick.
Florida State is.
Look at their body of work the last 8 games.
It's
amazing.
It's amazing, and then they have a young team, and almost everyone's coming back. Florida State is going to dominate. They are
ACC,
back in
yeah.
the ACC.
I agree with you. I missed it. I missed the boat.
Florida State, Tennessee is coming back. Their quarterback was looking phenomenal. That's going to be taking over for Hendon
not
Hooker
with you
next
on
year.
that
Too strong of an arm.
Okay,
It's like AR.
It's Tennessee. 10-2.
Tennessee, Alabama, and Michigan. I say Michigan. No. Yeah, we'll go with Michigan. I think that they have a team that can beat Ohio
one
State
more.
one more time. So
Florida State,
Alabama, Tennessee, and Michigan.
Okay.
Yep, those are the 4. And that is your Guys in the Bar Talking Sports for the last week of college football. Next week we move on to purely NFL and college
NCAA
basketball.
And
that's
basketball.
it.
Well,
And then keep on coming back for more Guys in the Bar Talking
sports.
Do you want to help support the show? Well, we're doing it for beer. So go ahead and buy us a beer. You can do that through Venmo at Guys of the Bar Talking Sports, and we'll look forward to drinking that beer on you.